Welcome along. We're here for round 2 of FA Season 2. We're here at Qatar for what promises to be a slightly, if not incredibly chaotic race. A full grid of 20 today. I'm Leopold, and commentating alongside me, as was last week, is ST. How are we going, ST?
Good. What's up, guys? Welcome to round 2 of FA2. I'm really excited and I'm really looking forward to this race.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the carnage in the Discord chats in this qualifying session as we just wait for the session to get underway. A full grid of 20 means that there might be a bit of traffic backup in this qualifying session, and that's all we're going to be looking forward to for this
I'm also looking forward to these track limits and validations.
Track limits will be they are very interesting around Qatar, in all fairness. Thankfully the game remembers I like my full track minimap on when we do these sessions, as I already hear the first cars getting ready to leave the garage, and it's going to be Is That Me, first guy out on track to set a lap here. As everyone starts diving out of this pit lane for a qualifying session that requires that bit of precision that we've all known to come and love. In Formula Aero, issues with track limits around here are not uncommon whatsoever. There are plenty of corners.
Especially in the corner that Is That Me is now turn 4 and 5. Very easy to get wide here and just invalidate very early in the lap.
Yeah, it's a way to lose what is a very great lap early on. It's so easy to gain a tenth, 2 tenths in that first couple of corners and then just throw it away through the double right for turns 4 and 5. But the track's going to be interesting not only on invalidations. I think we're going to see a lot of issues coming through with tyre wear here. It's recommended as a one stop, but if you push that car a little bit too hard, that one stop is going to be very on the limit. How many safety cars might we see today? Hopefully none with how far the walls are away, but that could be a way to make a one stop a lot easier for many of these drivers. But we're going to go on board and ST take us through Is That Me's first lap.
So he's going on the pit straight, activating his ERS, and let's see what line he's going to use into turn 1. He's not really hitting the apex, but that's alright in the first corner, shifting down into the 4th gear. Now using the battery again. Now the problematic turn 4 and 5 looks clean through here. Didn't invalidate. Now this little hairpin here looks clean to me. Using the ERS again into this right-hander here. All the way on the inside through these corners here. And it looks like a decent lap for me so far. Let's see what he can do now through sector 3. Looks clean through the first. Past right corners, shifting down into 6th gear. And also here. And it looks like a good, valid lap from Is That Me. Through the last corner, kept it valid, and it should be a decent lap to start. 1:33.4 from Is That Me, and we have his teammate.
Invalid
MH invalidated.
Invalid from MH. Across the line comes Pumba now. He sets a 23.5. Jack Newcastle a 24.2. MXT instantly going to the top here with a 22.4. Next up, Ollie 1G. Good lap from him, 23.6. We've got one of the Red Bulls in the background now coming up. That's Fozzie's 23.3. Good lap from him. TVN comes across the line for a 22.8. One of the next Haas across the line just starting a lap is Billy Wiz. Got one of the Ferraris coming to the line now. Might be Gaffo. It's Shano. He goes P7 for the time being. XD Tyler, new guy in the league, a 23-2, and FaZe Monkey setting a good lap right off the rip, a 22-1.
Very good lap from FaZe Monkey here.
Rolf comes across the line, no time from him. His teammate Hotshot Hippo comes across the line in the Aston Martin. Decent lap from him. We've got Sam Villa and Gaffo in tandem on their laps now. What are they each able to do? Sam Villa's not had a very good one this lap. Out of battery now, so it's going to be in the 24s. 24-7, and Gaffo disconnects before he can set his lap time. Connection issues already for our host last week, who also struggled in Monza with his
I'll
internet
try
connection.
to invite him back.
Yeah, Billy Wiz now in that middle sector, looking to hook something up. I think Rolf might be coming across the line. No, it's Rudy. He's just had a good lap. Billy Wiz somehow having his lap stay valid as it comes in through this final sector now. What can he do on the brakes? Into the awkward little hairpin. So easy to run out a bit wide, but he keeps it just within track limits. Across the line comes Billy Wiz, and it's P4. A very strong lap time from him. Next across the line is Bluefoot, all the way down in P19. Good lap from him. 22.9. What they needed. Rolfie is going to be next across the line in the Mercedes, and he's on a decent effort as it stands as well. Coming all the way to the line now. What can he do? It is only a 29.4. Rudy the player though, what sort of pace does he have in the back of that Mercedes? Kept it within the track limits so far. One of the things he struggled with last week and over the course of last season, but it's a good middle sector. It's showing up as purple for me as we wait to see him fling that car through the final sector. It's still all valid, but he's going to be picking up a little bit of dirty air off that Haas in front of him. It is still all well and good for Rudy in that Mercedes. What can he do as he comes through the final corner? Has a bit more charge in the battery, and he's going to come across to the line now. It's a 23.2. Good lap from Rudy as our first runs seem to be coming to a conclusion now. I think we've got a spinner. Lucas Spurs having a little spin in the triple right-hander, as everything seems to be coming together pretty nicely on these first runs for everyone involved. TVN keeping a lap together as well right now. Is he just pitting or is he going? He seems to still be going. He's looking to improve his time. He comes across the line and it's a 2/10 improvement for him. What else do we have maybe on a lap right now? Hotshot Hippo invalidated his, unfortunately. I believe now our next drivers looking for a lap are going to be those just on out laps as it stands, but Rolf pulling out the way he's pulling into the pits now as Giraracci starts his lap with a very rapid MH in tow. As we just look around now, seeing who might be on a lap. We've got the McLaren of XD Tyler definitely on a lap still. He's pushing on. Does he have some time in this middle sector to find? The Alpine gets nicely out of the way, but he is down. And down by a good amount. One of his teammate Ollie pulls off the track. The Landgoose on his laps. I'm surprised people are managing to get a couple sets of runs as Lucas Spurs and Ollie 1G come together. Lucas Spurs losing a front wing end plate. That's very unfortunate for him.
Jitterati invalidated on a very unusual spot, I would say, on his left-hander before sector 3, but we still have MH now on his lap. It looks good from here. Let's see what he can do in the last sector now.
Yeah, the commitment looking valiant from MH as he comes into this final corner now to finish up what has been a respectable looking lap for all intents and purposes. He goes up to P4 now. Good lap from him. Giraracci has to pull in to the pit lane. Gaffo 30.3 in the first sector. He's going to be the next car who hasn't set a lap to cross the line. What's he going to be able to do? As he comes through the middle sector, the pace is looking strong, and I know he's on a sweaty setup this afternoon. A 57.8 as he finishes the middle sector, flinging this car now into the final sector. The car sticking to the track for all intents and purposes. He's going to slam on the brakes now into the final corner. Can he get the traction? He can. Now it's just full burn of the battery to the line, getting a small toe off the back of a Haas. It's P2 for last week's nearly pole sitter. Good lap from him. As Pumba on an invalid effort right now. Shano's invalidated after being 4 tenths up in sector 1. Just looking now for our next driver across the line. It might be, Is That Me? It's not. Who are we looking for as our next driver across the line then? Just trying to find out. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, just waiting for someone to finish there to get out of the way, I think. Just going through.
MXD is on a good lap, purple through sector 2. Maybe he can go ahead of Gaffer or even ahead of his teammate Face Monkey now.
He had a poor sector 1, it looks like, on his lap, but he is coming now towards the line as Jack Newcastle starts his lap just in front, as does Shano. He's going to come to the line. It's a good effort, and it's still P3, purple in that final sector as well. Hotshot Hippo starting his next lap. I think next across the line is Jack Newcastle. No, we're looking for his teammate Billy Wiz, who's going to come across the line with a decent improvement. 2 tenths found on his lap. Next up is Rolfie. He's not found any time. Got one of the McLarens coming to the line now. XT Tyler stalling a lap. Pumba jumps up to P10. Hotshot Hippo can't improve. And I believe Is That Me finding a little bit of time, but not enough. Ollie 1G comes across the line, having not been valid, and Fozzie's there looks to have gone up to P8. Good lap from him. Bluefoot crossed the line to start his next effort now. Where are everyone on the track as it stands? Looking for someone on a lap, and Hotshot Hippo is that someone. As far as I can tell. End of the middle sector he comes. It's purple in the middle sector. He's found half a second. He's just got to hook up this final sector, turn the battery off to give him a bit more power through the end of his lap. And it's looking very respectable. Shano up to P13 after the conclusion of his lap. We've got Rolfie coming across the line, maybe in front of him. Whoever it was in the Merc didn't improve. Hotshot Hippo only P8, sorry, as the graphic just updates for me there. P8 for him. Rolfie is on a valid effort. It doesn't look very strong right now, but is it an improvement from the Mercedes driver? No. Can't find the time. As XT Tyler comes across the line, he finds a few tenths. Good lap from him. Is That Me in the background is going to come across the line. Can't improve enough. Ollie 1G and the McLaren finishes his lap. Can find one more position with the pace he has in that car. Fozzie's on an in-lap, but might actually, on the same set of tyres with not much time to go, is still pushing on with no battery and nothing to give. Jitarachi is going to come across the line. What has he managed to do on his first timed effort? He's up to P9. Good lap from him considering everything in his session. Rudy the player's on an improvement. It's not by much, but can he find anything in the final sector? He does seem to have the battery. Tyres might be going up a little bit, but he's going to run that car all the way to the line. Finds a small amount of time, gains a position on Pumba. Decent effort from him as Hotshot Hippo pulls into the pits, and we've got, I think, one of the Williams coming now to start their lap, which might just be their final effort in this session. XD Tyler invalid on his effort. Rolfie coming into the pit lane now as well, as everyone just seems to be starting to prepare for their final run, as we just go and see who's pushing. TVN has just finished his effort. That might be his qualifying done, as it's very much a lot quieter on this track now, just waiting for everyone to get prepared for a final run, as TVN does seem to be pushing on after his last improvement. The only driver on track right now with a push lap seeming to be going. Hopefully this is a real push lap as he comes through. Tricky left-hander, gets it hooked up nicely on that apex. What can he do through the middle sector as he backs off on his lap? So we get a second as we wait for our first driver to cross the line for their final run. MH needs a really good lap right now. FaZe Monkey still the class of the field by a tenth and a half, as was the case last week in Monza when he denied the Ferraris from pole. And he's going to get a nice little toe off the back of one of them. I think that's Shano. As he comes through that first sector, he's kept it valid, but not for long enough. He can back off though and go again. He has that. He has the opportunity to go again should he need to. We got on lap. TVN can't find the improvement, but he is pushing again. Billy Wiz is coming through that first sector now. What's he going to be able to do? Draining the battery down towards 4 and 5. What's he going to be able to do? He is invalidated as well. He has time though to back off and go again. As people keep invalidating, we're having more and more opportunities to say this is our next person to start their final flying lap. As TVN finishes his first sector, he's a tenth down. But based on the fuel he has in the car and how much battery he used, this has to be the one. Keeping it quite central in the track and holding it through the long right-hander. What's he going to be able to do as we come to the end of the middle sector now? Flicking the car left through the tricky left. He's not hooked it up as well as he did on his last effort, and he's backed off again. At this rate, we're going to have a million people starting and finishing laps as FaZe Monkey gets heavily impeded by one of the Mercedes of Rolfie on his lap after a little improvement in the first sector. Traffic is getting bad out here in Qatar as everyone is fighting for their own little piece of track. Everyone needs to try and get out the way of each other. FaZe Monkey definitely on track to be our first man across the line as it stands, but he's invalidated again. More people struggling with hooking up a valid lap here, as Pumba actually half a second improvement. He will be officially our first driver to cross the line now to finish their final run in qualifying. He crossed the line. He goes P8 as it stands. It's what he needed. MXT starting his final lap. Alpine's teammate Jitarachi starting a final lap. Rolfie comes across the line to start a final lap. Is that me now? And I think it's Ollie 1G comes across the line. He's going for his final effort now. As the Astons get ready to go. And it's going to be absolute chaos as everyone is going. And we have no idea where anyone's going to. MH starting a final effort. RB Gaffo and Shano might together be starting a final effort. I don't know if Shano's backed off and gone again. So I think yet again it might actually be Billy Wiz now, our first driver across the line. He's 3 tenths up on where he is right now. This could skyrocket him up. FaZe Monkey out. Ollie 1G out. Fozzie's is done for. Billy Wiz up to P4. One of the McLaren's XD Tyler pulls into the pits. Next cross the lines of Red Bull in the background. Bluefoot goes up to P2. As we wait now, it's one of the Hasses. Jack NUFC hasn't managed to improve. As we're looking in the final sector now. Got a Mercedes off in the gravel of Rudy the player. One of the Alpines backing off now from his final run. MXT is coming to the line. He can't find enough improvement. The Alpines in tandem. Pumba not able to improve. Jitarachi unable to improve. We've got Rolfie. He's invalidated. He's guaranteed P20. Both of the Astons coming through the final sector now. Hotshot Hippo not up as it stands. What can he find? He slides his way towards the line. Can't find an improvement. What can Sam Villa do in the background? Sam Villa pulls into the pits. We've got one of the kick Sabers now. I think that's MH. Comes across the line. He can't find the time. Gaffer comes across the line. Closes up, but not close enough. Lucas Spurs goes up to P5. Shano up to 11th. And Rudy the Player, our last driver across the line. But had an issue. And that's qualifying complete here in Qatar. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the race, as we have some grid penalties that desperately need applying for the race. And we are back. Sorry about the delay. We were setting up to get ready to go for the race. We had a few grid penalties applied. All you need to know is that Rudy is down places and MH is down 3 as well. And it looks like it's a rain-affected race here in Qatar. It is wet right off the start. Jack Newcastle being the happiest person in Discord, helping people remember their setups. As we are just going to wait now to get back underway. ST will be here for 25 minutes and 25 minutes only, so hope all the action happens then. So I can rest my voice, as I don't think anyone is happy about the wet.
This is gonna be absolute carnage.
Yeah, dynamic weather fucking over everyone in Qatar. Once again. And apparently, we are doing another lobby reset. So stand by. And back, sorry for the technical difficulties. Apparently it was not wet and it started raining. So no one was very happy, but we've got the grid reset and we're just waiting to load back in now. So hopefully once and for all start this race before my voice completely goes. I'm trying to talk while I am ill. Everyone should be in there. 20 drivers barreling towards a tricky turn 1. Where we've seen Mercedes take each other out in the past, where we've seen catastrophe for people's races so often. And back again for only 14 minutes this time is going to be ST. But hopefully he'll make it through a good chunk of this race, provided we don't have too much carnage at turn 1. It's going to be good start here. FaZe Monkey and Gaffo taking on the front row. Rudy the player will be starting last after his penalty, and MH is down to 12th due to his 3-place grid penalty, both from qualifying incidents last week out in Monza. As we wait for everyone to be prepared to go racing. Who's going to gamble on a different tyre at the start?
I think we'll see some 2 stops here, and maybe even 2 softs and 1 medium.
Well, we will see. We're going to 5 red lights here in Qatar. And it is lights out, away we go. FaZe Monkey with a good start. Gaffo looked to get away well. Everyone away cleanly. Gaffo in the tow of FaZe Monkey into turn 1. He's going to try sweep around the outside on that medium tyre. The grip is there. Lucas Spurs up to 5th, and Gaffo takes the lead early on. Everyone through 1 and 2 cleanly. XD Tyler trying to make up some places. Rudy the player already back up to 16th. MH up to 7th after his penalty. And is that me? Losing a lot of ground on the exit of turn 2. As we come through the tricky double right-hander already. One of the cars going wide in the background. As one of the McLarens looks like XD Tyler, and through the hairpin we go. Who's going to make an audacious dive bomb? Looks like one of the Astons trying to have a look at the inside. I think that's Hotshot Hippo, who does eventually make that move stick on Jitarachi. But everyone away nicely. Is that me towards the back? I'm trying to trade places with Rolfie. We've got a car off the track towards the back as well. I think that's Rudy the player, who has Ollie 1G up the inside and cleanly through. As Is That Me drops a couple more places, and Pumba already has a penalty. Gaffo's under a bit of pressure.
With a really good start. Used his advantage with the medium tires against FaZe Monkey, who started on the hard tires. And I think he'll need to just get some ground to FaZe Monkey. And FaZe Monkey just needs to try to not let Gafu get too far away, so he'll be in the DRS and can strike at a mistake from Gafu.
A lot of drivers pulling into the pit lane. Fozzie's 10-second penalty already, and Gaffo with FaZe Monkey all over the back from Pumba making up a place into turn 1. Already penalties for him. On terms of tyres, we've got Shano starting on a soft, but a decent split of mediums and hards off the rip, as we've got a yellow flag towards the back at turn 1. I think Rudy the player's had a bit of an off. And Shano making good use of that soft tyre, getting past Billy Wiz. Shano has committed at this point to a 2-stop. As MH starts battling his way through on Hotshot Hippo, and he is up the inside cleanly and taking a small look there at Jitarachi, as we have a yellow flag towards the back, as Sam Villa has had a bit of a spin as well early on in this race. But already on this lap, Gaffo pulled a little bit of an advantage over FaZe Monkey. Can he hold it through this awkward final sector? The dirty air going to be helping him immensely with those medium tyres on. But DRS still going to be available for FaZe Monkey, but he's going to be under so much pressure from Bluefoot behind him, who I believe might also be on a medium tyre. Bluefoot a little wide out the final corner. And Gaffo 25.7 off the rip, pace looking strong. And this Bluefoot going to try and take a look at FaZe Monkey, but no, FaZe Monkey on the inside trying to get past Gaffo, and around the outside Gaffo tries to hold it and does succeed in turn 1. FaZe Monkey taking a little look in turn 2, nothing coming of it, and that puts Bluefoot right on the back of FaZe Monkey. in the slipstream we go. All three of them practically nose to tail. That dirty air is going to be killing them as they come through the double right-hander, and Gaffo somehow managing to keep the lead as Ollie 1G picks up one of the many penalties we've already seen in this race.
Pace Monkey seems to struggle a bit on these hard tires. Bluefoot with a very good pace from the start and looks to overtake Face Monkey in the next few laps. But he needs to watch out for his tires. The tires are not really holding long if he stays in this dirty air of Face Monkey.
Yeah, just going on board with a few of the drivers there. Face Monkey easily with the worst temps of anyone, and Face Monkey, more crucially, has dropped out of Gaffo's DRS through the detection zone. Gaffo a little wide on the exit. He won last week on penalties, if you recall. As Face Monkey down the main straight, no DRS. Bluefoot behind him does have the DRS, but nothing able to be done, as Gaffo's going to make a look. That's trying to streak away out in front. TVN and Shano having a little scrap on the main straight, and it's a clean move for Shano. Hotshot Hippo on the inside of Billy Wiz. Billy Wiz going to try and hang it around the outside, both on that hard tyre, but nothing coming of it as it stands. Hotshot Hippo keeping that P9 over Billy Wiz early on in this race, as XD Tyler at the back has picked up a 10-second. And a few drivers having a real struggle early on in this race.
Face Monkey's back in the DRS from Gaffo, but I don't think for long. Gaffo really looks strong this race. He looks like he can win his second Formula Aero race, and he's looking very, very strong this season. He's definitely a championship contender this year. You look behind Lucas Spurs, also very close to the front pack. Maybe he can use some mistake from Bluefoot or Face Monkey here. And we'll see who gets these track limits here first. I think the track limits are going to be very crucial here.
Just looking at the battery situation of the drivers. Face Monkey is lower on battery. Is he going to try and go for it into turn one? He is on the inside. Lay on the brakes. Gets it hooked up nicely. Is Gaffo going to be able to get the switch back out of one? Looks like he's succeeded, but turn two, Gaffo on the outside now. Can he get anything done? And he can. He can keep that position over Face Monkey for now. That little battery advantage that Gaffo had, turning in to a great opportunity for him as towards the back. Samuel Villa has had a spin out of that final corner. But how much, crucially, is Face Monkey hurting his chances of a one-stop here? Because he is sticking to the back of Gaffo, he's pushing his battery, he is pushing his tyres. When I went on board with him, he was mid-110s of tyre temps before, still 117 degrees on that rear left, which is the critical tyre around this track. It is so easy to burn out that rear left, but he's stuck really nicely through this middle sector to the back of Gaffo. Gaffo maybe being a bit conservative on the battery, as Face Monkey a little bit wide through both of them, and picks up a 3-second penalty already. Lap 5 for Face Monkey getting a 3-second penalty. That is not ideal, and that's going to put Gaffo in a much nicer mindset. You've got to remember, Gaffo does have one advantage here, and that is the incredible undercut. But here comes Face Monkey. It'll be clean, it'll be easy. Through into the lead for Face Monkey as we begin lap 6. And maybe now he can bring his tyres into a slightly nicer window than he had them previously. But this top 4 has pulled away quite nicely, as we're getting penalties galore already. Taking a look at penalties just for now. Fozzie's 13 seconds. Rolfie, I've seen his name pop up a few times already. He's 17th with 6 seconds. Jack Newcastle, 9 seconds of penalties early on in this race. And Gaffo does not look to be struggling on the back of Face Monkey as much as Face Monkey might have been struggling on the back of him. Maybe an opportunity for the two of them to try and do a bit of DRS sharing and pull themselves back up away from the likes of Bluefoot and Lucas Spurs, who are definitely strong threats in this race. thus far. FaZe Monkey doing a lot of ERS conservation through this final sector. You have to. It's not possible really to overtake if you can keep that battery in good check. There is a great opportunity towards turn 1, and Gaffo is 3/10 behind FaZe Monkey. Can he get a good exit? We know Bluefoot's not been getting them out of that final corner, and FaZe Monkey instantly defensive on the main straight. Bluefoot actually closer to Gaffo than Gaffo is to FaZe Monkey. Breaking the toe is FaZe Monkey, and on the outside looks Gaffo. Can't get anything done, and Bluefoot keeping just behind as Shano pulls into the pits. Those soft tyres are already done on his car. 2-stop guaranteed for the other Ferrari driver. What can he do with that? As Gaffo still free of pens. Maybe one warning that I've seen so far as we focused on him primarily. This top 4 sticking together better than a gingerbread house the 6-year-old made for Christmas. As Lucas Spurs is just sitting back nicely, probably taking a bit of care of his tyres, as 3 of the top 4 are on that medium tyre as well. FaZe Monkey the only one with that hard tyre off the start, which will give him a great advantage later in the race if he can have some good pace at the end of the stint. But the undercut around here is not to be understated. From my testing, it's about 3 seconds you can gain from a really good undercut per lap. But Gaffo in this final corner now is right on the rear of FaZe Monkey. It's a poor exit for Gaffo though, and Gaffo's going to be under some incredible pressure from Bluefoot, who takes away P2 for the time being. Is Gaffo going to be able to tuck back in and go back at him? Not quite on this occasion, and Gaffo a little wide in 1. Could open the door up for Lucas Spurs as TVN pulls into the pits for his first stop, and Sam Villa picks up a 3-second for his first penalty of the race. Jack Newcastle clearing his teammate just about. Billy Wiz reserving in Tier 2 today. Sam Villa clears TVN, who is pitting right now, as is Ollie 1G. What sort of pace has Shano put on? He has cleared TVN for sure. But can you tell us what tyre Shano's on? ST.
Shano on mediums, looking very strong on his second stint here. Well, let's see what he can do with this undercut. But I don't think it was very smart of him to start on soft. They are really not good on this track. Maybe it was a mistake from him, but maybe it'll pay off somehow later in this race. But we'll see what Shano can do. He's gaining on Samuel Villa. Now 10th per 10th through the corners here. 7.7 seconds.
Yeah, looking back now from that lead battle, Pumba on the back of MXT. He's reserving the battery, but he is close enough to maybe just take a look into turn 1, and he does, but can't quite make anything happen on the exit. Does he have any more grip? No, he just doesn't right now. Those two scrapping away on that medium tyre over what is P5 and P6, but if any sort of major battling starts happening up front, they're going to be right on the back, as Lucas Spurs has now dropped out of that DRS of the top 3. Gaffo, Bluefoot and FaZe Monkey actually doing quite a good job so far.
And Pumba tried it into the little hairpin. There was a bit of contact, but MXT could stay up front of him. But he's very fast, looking to get past MXT. Oh, MXT really not looking good on these hard sliding around. And they're now almost side by side. We'll see what happens at the pit straight.
Yeah, Gaffo has fallen back a little bit up front though from Bluefoot. Bluefoot is all over the back of FaZe Monkey. Those mediums still working on the Red Bull. Is he going to be able to make a move down that main straight? Gaffo with a much better exit than either of them from that final corner. Bluefoot doesn't look to be closing enough with that DRS, but Gaffo is closing incredibly onto the back of Bluefoot. No move possible into turn 1 for Bluefoot, and I think Pumba just recharging some batteries, got nothing in the tank as Billy Whiz gets past his teammate who pulls into the pits for the first time. Quite early if you want to try and go to the end from here, so it has to be a 2-stop now for Jack Newcastle. Surely, as Fozzie's picks up, I think, his first penalty of the race. The question is, how far in front of Jack does Shano come out? That is going to be one of the big questions, to just get a guess of where Shano might be in this race, obviously with another stop to make. Still, as ST, my secondary commentator, has had to go. It's 9 PM. That's his cutoff. Shano has come out about 4.5 seconds ahead of Shano, so Shano's still looking about where he was before, maybe just ahead of Jitarachi here. As Gaffo needs to push in this final sector, and he's managed to find just enough time to keep himself within that DRS of the lead few, of the lead 3, and Gaffo into the pits for the first time on lap 10. He's going to be probably committed to a 2-stop if he can keep anything together. MXT also in the pits. Now the undercut will start to play a factor now for all these drivers who are right next to each other on track. Jitarachi and Hotshot Hippo clearing all the people that are struggling right now, as my Siri thinks that I was speaking to it while commentating. And Phase Monkey now just really waiting to see pressure from anyone else as it stands, because Bluefoot's not really put anything towards him in this stint, and Bluefoot's medium's starting to give way a bit. I'd be really interested to see what the tyre performance is like between these two, because I'm sure Phase Monkey's tyres are feeling a lot better. They've had a lot more clean air over them for the entirety of this race so far. As through into the final sector we come. Bluefoot still 7 tenths behind Phase Monkey. Is he going to box and try and protect this undercut, or is he going to keep going for another few laps? He does pull into the pits, so Bluefoot stopping for the first time. Is Lucas Spurs going to follow them in? No, he's staying out for longer. He needs to get himself as far as he can in this race. This Phase Monkey now just left all on his lonesome out in front, and we'll look back for anything battle-wise happening on track. It looks next up for battles is Rolfie and Ollie 1G, who are right up behind each other. Ollie 1G with a lovely looking move up the inside of the tricky left-hander, and Ollie 1G with a miraculous overtake and a lot of gap for him. Is that me? Samuel Villa both pulling into the pit lane. Ollie 1G going about 10 years wide in half of these corners right now, trying to pull that DRS. Rolfie being looked at by his teammate towards this final corner. And as they go through the final corner, Rolfie's soft tyres are not looking happy, and surely it's time for a pit stop. If this is the deficit you've got, but nothing coming as of yet. Few drivers in the pits. TVN, Fozzie and Sam Villa were in the pits as I looked. Gaffo and Billy Whiz are close to each other on track. Billy Whiz is going to be on ancient hard tyres. How quickly is Gaffo going to be able to clear him to try and get himself back towards the lead? Bluefoot with nearly a 3-second drop off behind him. I didn't actually take a look. Gaffo on a second set of mediums. Bluefoot on hards. Bluefoot might drag that to the end. And Gaffo around the outside of Billy Whiz gets it done, but is he going to put himself under some unnecessary pressure on this main straight? Doesn't look it, as Billy Whiz pulls into the pits anyway, but lost a substantial amount of time in the final corner as Gaffo 25.6, fastest lap of the race. We've got a yellow flag further back. Jack Newcastle has retired from the session. Out on track, don't know if anything's happened to him, but luckily no safety car as it stands. Shano currently in 10th, I think a few drivers ahead yet to pit, but he still has to pit as well. He does have a full pit stop maybe ahead of XD Tyler. Unless that's just an issue with our deltas, we'll find out shortly. It doesn't. If Shano pit now, he'd probably come out around Is That Me? Samuel Villa, maybe just behind Ollie 1G, so he needs some good pace for now. As Gaffo's closing in on the back of MH. Is he going to do it a bit smarter this lap? MH. Old hard tyres as well for him. Gaffo's going to have so much pace over him. He needs to hold things together as I find out Jack Newcastle with a controller connection issue, leading to his retirement from this race. And Gaffo surely might take a look into this final corner, doesn't, decides better of it. Lucas Spurs finally pulls into the pits. He's surely going to the end now as we come to the start of lap 14. Into turn 1 they go, and Gaffo clear through the corner ahead of MH. And now next up is Hotshot Hippo, who has plenty of penalties to cook with. And I think one of the big things now deciding this race is going to be that penalty game. We've got a few drivers out there without penalties, and at least for Bluefoot and Gaffo right now, it's who can manage that traffic the best. Gaffo, fastest sector 1 of anyone so far this race. He's looking confident and strong. Is That Me? And Sam Villa getting past XD Tyler as he pulls into the pits. But Gaffo is going to be desperate to find a way through now. I'm sorry if the rest of this scream is a bit crap. My voice has decided it's given up, so we might go monotone mode for the rest of this race if it keeps going, because we're not even at the halfway point yet. Gaffo all over the back of Hotshot Hippo, and might even be tempting fate and looking to move up the inside, but Gaffo needs to get on with it. And get on with it he shall, up the inside, and there's some contact and wing damage for Gaffo. He's lost an end plate. How is this going to play out as Pumba pulls into the pits? His pit stop. Gaffo are 3 decades wide out of the final corner, and Hotshot Hippo might be thinking about going straight past. Gaffo again as MH picks up a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane, and into turn 1 they go. Hotshot Hippo with better front end now than Gaffo, who has that wing damage that has kind of cost him a lot in this race. As it stands though, Billy Wiz, fastest lap of the race again, 25.2. And FaZe Monkey sitting pretty out in front. I want to see him turn right a little bit so I can get a gauge on that tyre temperature of the rear right. It looks like he's got that a bit more under control now. And how many more laps does he have on these tyres? Got a yellow flag on the pit exit. I think that's Sam Villa, unfortunately, having an issue in turn 1. And FaZe Monkey just still out there setting good laps, which is what he needs. And Yaffo now with that wing damage just can't catch Hotshot Hippo. This fast section is going to be causing him so many issues. Even a slight reduction in downforce is going to be killing him right now. And into the final corner he comes. Can he hold it together, and can he maybe re-clear Hotshot Hippo as Bluefoot is going to be scrambling all over the back of Gaffo. DRS open, and down the main straight he goes. Gaffo back through on Hotshot Hippo if he can hold it around the outside, and he can successfully get that move done. Is Bluefoot going to make it through on much fresher hard tyres? And that is quite easily for him, but Hotshot Hippo doesn't want it to be over yet. We're going to go on board. The battery burnt for Hotshot Hippo, but those older tyres not treating Hotshot very nicely. We're going to go on board with Bluefoot, who's going down the inside of the hairpin. He holds it through on Gaffo. He's up to P3, and surely now he will just slide away from Gaffo corner by corner. The dirty air and that damaged front wing will not be helping Gaffo in the slightest, as we're going to go and quickly and take a look at FaZe Monkey, who pulls into the pits as Ollie 1G has retired on track there. FaZe Monkey switching to that medium tyre now. That 3-second penalty might not hurt him as much towards the end, as it's going to be 5-lap-old hards versus a brand new medium for FaZe Monkey. And as Bluefoot comes out the final corner and starts his next lap, we're going to be watching now as Bluefoot is going to quite happily clear FaZe Monkey, as will Gaffer. But what's that gap going to be? It's only 2 seconds, just jumping up to 3 as he starts to pull it together out of the pit lane, and this could be the opportunity of a lifetime for FaZe Monkey. Last week couldn't win the race, but the pace on a fresh medium is going to be just that much better than the mediums on Gaffo and the hards on Bluefoot's car. As we're underway for lap 17, halfway through this race, Jitarachi and Shano are going at it further back, but I think now would be a great time just to take a quick look at what we're looking at on tyres. While we see FaZe Monkey really closing in on Gaffo. The freshest tyres on the grid right now for Hotshot Hippo, FaZe Monkey and Jitarachi. And we're going to have to wait and see how much this helps Bluefoot's 5-lap-old hards coming up to 6-lap-old. Gaffo's much older mediums that have been dealing with wing damage. And now FaZe Monkey needs to desperately clear Gaffo. He's turned the battery on. He is going to have the slipstream. He's going to have DRS. And he should have all the battery in the world. Gaffo already derating towards the end of the straight. And the move is easy for FaZe Monkey towards the background. One of our leading contenders earlier, Lucas Spurs, DRS and battery again, up against Pumba, who goes defensive a little late there, but Lucas Spurs through, maybe a little bit of contact, and Pumba clears back through. What can Lucas Spurs do on the inside? What can Pumba do on the outside? Pumba holding it around the outside, and this battle is going to rage on for a little bit longer towards the fast turn 4 and 5. Nothing coming for Lucas Spurs as that dirty air starts to kick in. And we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for the action as Gaffo is struggling now. Those tyres are not ideal for him. Shano and MH battling through that right-hander with Billy Wiz, who comes out on top of all of that. But we're going to pay attention now to the front. FaZe Monkey, fastest middle sector of the race now. How's this going to affect things as we come towards the start of lap 19? FaZe Monkey on the back of Bluefoot. So we're going to take a quick peek at the batteries. Both of them looking decent enough on battery. But Bluefoot, poor exit from that final corner. FaZe Monkey with a 23.9. Fastest lap of the race. What can he do? He looks to the inside of turn 1. Down the inside he goes, and he is through into the lead as his teammate clears Gaffo 6 seconds behind, and Shano gets through on MH in that final sector. Gaffo needs to get something done soon as Rudy retires from the race, and that is a virtual safety car. Out on track for now. Virtual safety car to bring this action to a halt for a moment. As FaZe Monkey, with the perfect timing for that, clears his rival. Now with the chance to do more than just clear your rival. As we're going to wait for action to get back underway now. A 10-second penalty for Lucas Spurs on exceeding track limits. I don't know what happened there. As we just wait now for the VSC to come to its conclusion. I can't see a bright yellow safety car on track, and I think it is about to end as FaZe Monkey tries to launch off it early. And there's a drive through for Sam Villa speeding under VSC. I didn't quite catch if FaZe Monkey was speeding, but he managed not to, surprisingly enough. And in the final corner, FaZe Monkey, how much can he pull? He's got about 7/10 of advantage now. That is perfect for him, as into turn 1 he's going to be able to go with plenty of gap now and the ability to try and push on. MXT pulls into the pits off his medium tyres, and surely Gaffo is going to be thinking about making that pit stop as well. As FaZe Monkey needs to just get his foot down and get pushing away from Bluefoot now. As MXT and the V-Carb is falling down the field a little bit, come to the pit exit, might just be out behind Hotshot Hippo. And P8, how much can he make up in the rest of this race? As FaZe Monkey trying to leave an impact here. He needs to make a statement after Monza. Can he get the pole and the win here? That would be exactly what he needs, as he has already pulled that 1 second crucially from Bluefoot. Only 2 more of those to go, and he'll be looking at a race win here with that 3-second track limits penalty hanging over his head. But he's doing everything he needs to right now. The DRS is gone for the Red Bull behind him. And into the final corner we go, a 1.4 second gap for FaZe Monkey, who seems to be putting a lot of pace down. As we've got a yellow flag in the final sector. Rolfie going a bit slowly there. Must have made a little mistake as Gaffo pulls into the pits, hopefully to get that wing repaired. And we're going to take a small look at that, but I think Lucas Spurs, he is on the back of Pumba. He's not close enough for a move. Gaffo will get a new front wing. What can he do in the remainder of this race? As FaZe Monkey now 2 seconds ahead as they finish Sector 1. This is his race to lose now. His tyres at a decent temperature. He's not done too much with them. That gap just slowly going to build now for FaZe Monkey with Bluefoot. His tyres are a little bit cooler, but more crucially they are a lot older, and those hards aren't going to be any sort of tyre towards the end of the race. Lucas Spurs really needs to make an impact soon though. It's P4 just behind Pumba. And I don't think he has wing damage. He just needs to try and make this move on Pumba, who has been holding him up for a lot of this race, and Lucas Spurs has gotten through on Pumba. So I did not see the move happen. I think Pumba trying to play a bit of chicken here with that DRS, and Pumba gets another penalty. Fozzie's retires on the inside of that final chicane, and it is a full safety car now. And that is going to completely spice things up in this race. Who has the extra tyres? Gaffo is going to be saved by this. MXT has a chance to pull himself back. Shano, who had a very awkward strategy off the rip, with a good chance here. How are we going to hold together as we come towards what should be about a 5-lap sprint to the end? And now it's all about looking at one detail, the tyres for this safety car. A few mediums being picked. MXT picking to stay out. Does he clear Pumba? I think he has managed to. There's a few drivers picking up massive penalties under these safety cars. Unsure how that's happening. Billy Wiz retires in the pits and leaves. Unfortunate for him. And what are these two leaders going to do? They surely have to put a new set of tyres on. It's what has FaZe Monkey brought? What has Bluefoot brought? The hope for them both is that they have mediums to go. Softs will die. We saw on Shano's car in that first stint. Softs aren't great, but Gaffo and Shano, the two guys with experience on those soft tyres, are going for it. Is that me? Should just about get out ahead of Shano. But we'll have to see what happens, as I think got cars nearly stopped in that first chicane. It's one of the Hasses stopped on track. That might be Billy Wiz's retiring car. But both of the two leaders in the pits. MXT a bit too far behind to do anything. Is he just going to choose to stay out? But a lot of drivers doing the Rainbow Challenge today. Let's come towards the end of this race. FaZe Monkey and Bluefoot on soft tyres. Surely The only option for MXT is to pit for a soft, otherwise he is going to be vulnerable to all hell on this safety car restart. A 2-lap old hard compared to a fresh soft, and he does decide to pull into the pit lane. Into the pits he must go. You know the rest. As FaZe, Monkey and Bluefoot actually with one advantage here, and that's that they didn't have to immediately pit when the safety car came out. A lot of people just diving in, not realising that the leader was past the safety car. So they have a lap less on their tyres, and it might be a slow lap, but the tyres die around this circuit. I am dying around this circuit. As it stands, MXT is going to come out right in front of Gaffo, one of his rivals in this race. So how will we come to an end? Pumba in a great position to maybe score a podium here. Jitarachi with a great comeback as well. Looking at the guys with grid penalties, Rudy is out. MH is in P12, maybe with a chance to get some points here if he can put the foot down towards the end. A few drivers having things come together nicely for them. But are we going to get a full tail on this safety car before the restart? We've definitely got another lap to go. Yeah, and I'm going to rest my voice for about the next minute and get some water down me.
You on speaker?
Alright, and we are back live. We've got a second commentator back to help save my voice a little bit. We've got John's boy from Tier 1 joining us here as he tries to get something set up to speak to us here. Speaker. That's very unfortunate that he can't. I'm going to make sure he can actually see this race because he is not in the lobby. Gonna have one more lap here behind that safety car as John's boy seems to be gone. Let me just give him permission to join the call. He can sort himself out. But safety car, one more lap I believe as everyone tries to catch up. As he might have just joined back, he is muted apparently, but we'll see what's going on. Hello there. You should be able to. You should be able to watch a stream of the race that's a bit more live than you can see on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'm watching on the Discord thing.
Alright, perfect. Well, we have now second co-commentator John's boy fully set up and ready to go.
Fill me in on
here.
what's gone on.
Gaffo got wing damage. We've had about 5 retirements from people just going off on track, apart from Jack NUFC, whose controller disconnected. And there's been a decent bit of action, so everyone's on a fresh tyre. Well, fresh-ish now.
What actually happened to Gaffo then? I did see he was doing good at the beginning though.
Yeah, he caught a bit of wing damage off the back of Hotshot Hippo while he had better tyres. And that just stole his race, and unfortunately he pitted just before this safety car came out, so lost a few places to that as well. But we should hopefully be getting ready to go racing at the end of this lap.
Hopefully. And what about the time penalties? FaZe Monkey has a time penalty, but is it like 3 seconds? Are they 6 seconds? Or 21 seconds for Pumba? Yeah,
a lot of track limits going on here. We've had a few people get 10-second exceeding track limits penalties.
Wow.
But a mix of that soft and medium tyres, it still looks like the safety car was staying out, but it is coming in.
It is in this lap. And the people on softs probably are going to be struggling at the end compared to the mediums, just because of how high tyre wear is.
Yeah, Lucas Spurs with a good opportunity here. Hotshot Hippo as well. As the field is going to get backed up, we go to the front of the field with FaZe Monkey, who's backing everyone up nicely now. As we head towards the final corner.
Try and go out of the final corner.
He looks like he might do. He's got a big gap already. He's not gone. But Bluefoot may be trying to get a very good launch off this restart, but how much is that going to hurt him? A second gap. Yeah. The second gap already for Bluefoot. To FaZe Monkey, who has had a miraculous restart. Into turn 1 we go. No moves seeming to be made as they head down into turn 1. Everyone with a full battery in this field and fresh tyres. MH gets through on Tyler in the back. TVN gets through on a few drivers. As Shano seems to have lost out in turn 2. He's dropped down to 13. Lucas Spurs already clearing Pumba as Rolfie in the lap down car is just falling back slowly. Sam Villa picks up a 3-second penalty. What can Lucas Spurs do now as Bluefoot seems to be closing in more and more?
Lucas needs to try and stay within the 3 seconds of FaZe Monkey and get on the back of P2 to stay in the race.
Yeah, FaZe Monkey not very happy about this safety car. He was safe for the rest of this race.
Or was he far out in front, was he?
He was a couple seconds out in front with a lot better tyres. But now it's all on equal terms, and Bluefoot closing in, using some battery in the triple right-hander to keep himself close. Pumba gets his 24th set of seconds of penalties. As FaZe Monkey a little bit wide on that exit, and Bluefoot is all over the back of the V-Carb in that Red Bull on the exit of the final corner.
Yet, though.
Yeah, slightly better though on the exit for FaZe Monkey. What can he do towards turn 1? Doesn't look like Bluefoot's got a chance to go at him into turn 1. He's going to be happy. Jitarachi in the background though on his teammate, gets through on the inside of turn 1. MXT in the V-Carb gets through.
Oh, is Rolfie retired?
MXT, Rolfie retires on track or in the pit lane. I think that's in the pit lane, which is very ideal for everyone else. Well, he disappeared quickly, so Lord knows, but Bluefoot still right on the back of FaZe Monkey, who just needs to try and pull away. But Bluefoot is not a slouch any day of the week here.
Yeah, he's staying behind him very well.
Yeah, slight wide moment though through that long right-hander. What can FaZe Monkey maybe do to try and get that second gap that he needs?
Yeah, it's all about the DRS. If you have the DRS, it's so much easier to stay behind someone.
Yeah,
don't lose the DRS. You can kind of stay with them a bit better.
Yeah, if Jitarachi can close up a little bit in this final sector, we'll have a DRS train from 3rd to 8th starting up, but it's still poor in the final sector for FaZe Monkey, who just needs to launch out of this final corner. It's a decent launch, but it surely won't be enough. There's Bluefoot, who's going to have DRS, all the battery in the world to help him. They're closing in a lot here.
Defensive, though.
Into turn 1, Bluefoot not able to make an impression yet. Look to try and get a run out the corner, but nothing happening yet. MXT getting past Hotshot Hippo in turn 1.
Oh, and my screen has froze.
Unfortunate for him.
I'm back.
And now, take a look back. Gaffo. He's starting to try and make moves. He's on the inside of Hotshot Hippo into turn 4 and 5. Hotshot Hippo hanging on the outside. Can he keep the position? No. Gaffo gets through. Up ahead, Pumba on the inside of Jitarachi. He makes the move stick.
Two Alpines.
Through the hairpin. Surely this is a bad decision for the Alpines. Pumba has 24 seconds of penalties, and he is still fighting his teammate like his position here. They're making contact. Pumba up to 27 seconds of penalties as Jitarachi looking back down the inside. Coming out of the right-hander, and Jitarachi gets the position back as we go back to looking up at the front of the field. Bluefoot, 3/10 is the gap. FaZe Monkey now needs to pray for that 3-second penalty as we come to start the final lap here in Qatar. FaZe Monkey surely with the battery, but the exit was better for FaZe Monkey. Down towards turn 1 they go. FaZe Monkey breaking out of the toe, and I think that's going to be enough to keep the position. Bluefoot's going to have to get aggressive on the rest of this lap if he wants to keep the place. Right now, Lucas Spurs not making enough of an impression to take that P2 in this race.
Going to miss out.
Towards now, this high-speed, tricky middle sector, Bluefoot doesn't have to do anything on track now. He can take it easy for a lap, and he will win on FaZe Monkey's penalty. As we come through the hairpin, Pumba gets another penalty, and he's done for the race. Pumba out, Gaffo up to P6 as it stands. FaZe Monkey now needs something to happen. What is FaZe Monkey going to be able to do as we come towards the final sector? He needs a mistake from Bluefoot. Surely a smaller gap would be a bit better here. Get that dirty air all over Bluefoot, who does look to be closing in a little bit towards his final sector. He has been formidable all day. Both of them have been. Bluefoot might not have been able to win it without the safety car, but on track, FaZe Monkey has led almost every lap, apart from the ones just after he pitted. But as it was last week, penalties will prevail here. FaZe Monkey crosses the line to win on track. Bluefoot gets it in the end on the penalty. Third is Lucas Spurs. Fourth, Jitarachi. Gaffo gets fifth with MXT. Getting up to fourth.
Penalty knocked him down to sixth.
Shano 7th, TVN 8th, Sam Villa in the Aston gets 9th in the end, and Hotshot Hippo finishes that race in 10th. The 2 kicks just unable to keep anything happening.
Yeah, it's a great result for the Racing Bulls as well, 2nd and 4th. That'll be good for the constructors.
And here we have Tyler just slowing down. P13, our last man across the line, and unfortunately compared to qualifying, it's not going to be the advantage for him as he just parks on the finish line. That is ideal.
He just fancies wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, sitting there. He'll get disqualified if he doesn't get going, but certainly something to consider as he reverses a little bit. But that is it. Bluefoot wins from FaZe Monkey and Lucas Spurs as we finally get the finish there.
Good from Bluefoot to just stay clean and not get any penalties.
To see on the podium the Red Bull, the V-Carb and the Williams. Happy as Larry there.
Yeah, good.
The race,
good race
in Qatar. We've got race winner of Bluefoot, FaZe Monkey with the fastest lap. Sam Villa wins the in-game driver of the day. And most overtakes goes to MH.
Well, I didn't see all the race, but the last few laps were interesting.
A great end. What has been a great race, and we will be back very shortly for an interview with the man who've ended up in P2. And we are back for the first time this season. We've got a post-race interview. Joining me for the interview is going to be FaZe Monkey, our eventual P2 driver. Tough race for you today, considering that 3-second penalty. How did that safety car completely destroy your race there?
I feel like my strategy was doing well, and then the safety car screwed me when I was pulling away from Bluefoot. But it is what it is.
Yeah, can you tell us, that was a very commanding opening stint for you. You didn't seem to lose too much despite being about 5 laps undercut by the other 2 drivers. How were you keeping your pace up that strong the whole race?
I feel like the strategy on hards worked because mediums don't last very long at the start of the stint. So starting on hards worked for me, just as I had a consistent pace. So I feel like if I started on mediums, I would have not been.
Alright, and qualifying, obviously, 2nd pole in a row for you. Is that a statement for how we should see your qualifyings go the whole season? Because last weekend you were on in front, this weekend it was a little bit closer for you with Gaffer.
Hopefully I stay with this pace in every race. I did get a little bit impeded on my last lap, but stayed on pole, so it didn't really matter much. But hopefully I'll stay with this consistent pace.
And with qualifying, we saw a lot of just generally drivers having issues with impeding or slower drivers in front of them on a lap. How was traffic for you just generally throughout the session? Because it seemed a bit chaotic from what we could see.
My first run had no traffic, and then I didn't have a run into the last few minutes. And then on that lap, I was like around half tenth up, and then I got a little bit impeded, backed out, grade, and then luckily my first lap was good enough to stay on pole.
Yeah, I know you're hoping that next weekend, obviously I think it's twice now you've been a bit screwed over by penalties. Next weekend, obviously, we're in Abu Dhabi, probably a slightly more difficult track to get a penalty in. Do you think that you'd be able to hold it together and get a race win there without penalties?
Hopefully, it's not one of my best tracks, but I can stay on track most of the time. Last season, I had around 12-second penalties, didn't really work out well, but hopefully, I'll stay on track this time.
Alright, sounds good. And how, just generally for those 2 races you've had this season, how's the competition been? Because you've been one of the guys up front. And just generally, how difficult has it been to keep up with the other guys racing around you?
I think generally we're on the same pace in certain part of the tracks. Other parts I'm faster, other parts they're faster. First race, Bluefoot was flying, couldn't really handle him. And then this race, I think I was on pace. I think I was probably up there, maybe the fastest, if I could say. But Bluefoot also stuck to me like glue, so pretty decent this competition.
Just the last thing, how do you think you can win the championship this season?
Possibly. We don't know. It's only the 2nd race, so we're aiming. Me and my teammate aiming for the constructors mainly, because obviously penalties aren't my strong spot. So constructors is the goal mostly.
Alright, well, thank you, FaZe Monkey, and that is going to be it for the stream today. We'll be back next week once again for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Same time as always, but hopefully with less technical issues throughout the entire weekend. And on Wednesday, Gaffo and Shamrock will be live for Tier 1 of Formula Aero, where we should hopefully see some even more monstrous battles around the Qatar circuit. Thank you all. My voice is